Hi everyone, it's Annie from Phoenix Healing. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I wanted to make this video regarding the seven life path and the energy about it at some point this year, especially since we are in the year of seven right now. So especially I feel with videos that I've made earlier this year addressing the seven and just how it is a very spiritual based number. It is a faith based number. It is a truth seeking number. And just especially how this is a number that's most correlated with Mother Nature and unfortunate incidents that happen in nature that would be very prevalent and happens most often in a year of a seven. So, especially with everything that's been going on regarding that with Mother Nature and just hearing and reading about many more people questioning themselves, feeling like they're being tested, which is very common in this year of a seven, I thought I would make a video regarding an example of who I think is actually a really great example of the seven life path. I was actually thinking of this person a while ago, like sometime last year, and thinking like, I wonder going into the year of the seven, like who would be a great example? And lo and behold, this person is it. So I don't know if many people know this or not, but if you grew up with MTV, especially maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, there was a show called The Hills on MTV, and it starred Lauren Conrad and Heidi Montag, and Heidi's boyfriend, who then eventually became her husband, was Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt was, especially in the early seasons of The Hills, people kind of, named him the villain of the series, not a nice guy, toxic masculinity, other not pleasant things. But what was interesting, I found out, and I saw from being a watcher of the show, was that in the later seasons, there was kind of a shift that he started changing and he became very, spiritual, and that he began with collecting crystals. And this was, I think, almost, like 9-10 years ago. And because he started doing this, I think, in his late 20s. And it just seemed interesting because there's a shift that happens, obviously, as we all mature age-wise, physical age-wise. And I remember he was getting a lot of nasty commentary from friends, people on the show, media outlets. A lot of people was thinking he was crazy, because he was collecting crystals and embracing his spiritual side. And it just seemed like nuts to me, in the sense that people can just easily call him crazy because he was collecting crystals, or that he was, just saying really unkind, bullying comments. And what was just interesting was, like, he was obviously ahead of many people's time, because now here we are, like almost 10 years later, and we have, especially in the spiritual community, such an embrace, especially with crystals and finding the right crystals for us, and for not only ourselves but our clients, our work, and just the beautiful energy and vibration that a crystal has. So he very much, got introduced to crystals, started collecting them, doing holistic care with them, and embracing that spiritual side. And now, years later, he still has his crystal shop. He has a crystal store online, and he just seems like a completely different man than who he was first introduced to the world as, especially being on a reality TV show. And what I found interesting too was that, he's a 34/7. So it was kind of intuitively knowing, I'm like, I bet that's the year he became a dad. And sure enough, the year he turned 34, he became a dad in the fall, because he was born actually in August, and he became a parent to his son in October. So I thought that was interesting, because I always notice that there's always some life-changing incident that happens, whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but it's always some type of life-changing event that happens at those two final digits. And I just find it so interesting that happened during his year of turning 34, because he became a dad. And there are times in the media, and even when he was on like Celebrity Wife Swap, that he was very much against like having kids. He was fearful of it. But then he's like this natural dad, and he's a really good father. I guess him and his wife Heidi had fertility trouble, and they were doing a lot of praying for her to get pregnant, because it was quite some years that from the birth of the first child, and they were trying to have a second. And there was an interview I actually saw in December where I guess they had their second baby, and they're both getting emotional, and he's holding their newborn son, his second son, just like an absolutely doting, loving parent, talking about how actively like they were doing a lot of praying, and they're just so grateful to have their family, like their new son. And it's just a different shift. There is just a big shift that happens, and it's just wonderful to witness that in someone who is fulfilling their life purpose and their soul mission. So one thing too I wanted to include that I noticed in his chart was that he is a destiny number 9. And so a 9, when somebody has that, or the destiny number, before they leave this planet, part of their destiny is to achieve and to lead others to a higher state of consciousness. And as one grows and learns to master a more balanced outlook of life, it is part of their destiny to teach others how to do the same. And obviously Spencer has done this. He did a lot of soul healing, a lot of soul growth, really got more in touch with the spiritual side and faith-based side. And, he was doing things that people were making fun of or thought that were strange. Now they're very much more accepted in the world and society today. He's doing his part to really help heal people, become enlightened and be aware of, the higher state of consciousness to help bring that. And he has done a lot of growing up and maturing, and he's definitely learned to master that and to have that more balance and teaching others to do the same. And it's just beautiful. It's really wonderful to see when someone does really a 180, because they went from who they were someone else, and they became who their soul was more aligned to, who they were supposed to be. So if you're interested in learning more about your numerology chart and your divine blueprint in numerology, please visit my website at phoenixhealing.com. Look into what numerology is and what a session with me would look like. And if you would like to have one, please order a session and we'll get you booked. So I hope this video has been enlightening and thought-provoking. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a really wonderful day, and I will see you guys soon.